Hello everybody, welcome back for some StarCraft 2 action. It's Harstem going up against Kelazhur on Amphion. Another Kelazhur series, another map we don't see every series. So pretty curious to see what Kelazhur brings out on this map. And of course El Capitan has a pretty good chance of getting out of this group himself. And with the Kelazhur getting the result versus Showtime that we did see in the last video, becomes pretty important for basically either of them to win this. You know, Showtime already ahead. Kelazhur needs the dub. But they also just want to catch up to Showtime. Amphion, of course, pretty weird map with the 10 mineral walls. I think it's 10-10, but yeah, I think it's 10-10. And this pretty much means that this is usually your only third base, and that this is usually not considered. If you look at the minimap, like triangle base is pretty difficult on this map. You have to really plan for it because it's pretty close to your opponent. It does kind of like protect your main from any air attacks. So your air surface is greatly diminished, but if, for example, the Protoss just builds a war prism, flies it over here, suddenly you can pressure your third base. It's pretty annoying. With the Protoss, you can even have a pylon here, just a pylon gateway, and just warp in right away. So as a Terran, seems pretty awful. As the Protoss, it might be okayish to take this. Like, especially if you get control over this area early. The Terran has to, like, spend time mining this out. You can have your Stalkers here. They have to mine out, like, all of it before they can get their bio army through. So you can kill a bunch of SCVs for free, perhaps. Seems okay. You can, of course, go for the Estrella build. We just built 3 gateways at the bottom of your... it was a Zerg player, so I guess won't quite work the same. Stargate coming out for Harstem here, which is not an every game type of thing for the Protoss as we've seen. Let's see if that's an every type of game thing for Harstem. The Adept kind of misses the Reaper here, or at least shades by. The second Adept comes in as well. Is going to meet up with the Reaper, but the Reaper is going to scoot by. Oh, actually gets move commanded into range, but should be able to get away with a nice mine, or oh, actually gets hit there. It doesn't take the time to throw down the little Reaper bomb. Let's see what Kelazhur is up to. Actually going for a pretty fast starport versus Showtime. We saw him go for the 3 racks before Stargate, starport every game, except for the one Dynasty game, where he did a really cheeky 1-base build to punish the Reaper wall on that map. Bless me. Oracle is coming out. We see a Phoenix follow-up after the Oracle. Let's see if we see multiple Phoenix. Could be going into a Colossus Phoenix build here with Harstem, but could also just as well transition into something else. The Oracle does come in. These SCVs are trying to run away. Look at them, just move commanded back, and the energy beam was turned on. 3 kills in total, and look at that. The double Cyclone with Marine Drop. We do have the Phoenix coming in. Nice lift here, reducing that damage out from the army. Wow, this battery, this Immortal Phoenix, oh my god. No ashes needed to arise again. Just 1 nuclear battery keeps it alive and keeps Harstem in this game. Keeps this drop from doing a lot of damage. Maybe he could have targeted down the battery there, because I think it was only like 1 Adept really doing any damage. Probe might go down still. Follow-up push here from Kelazhur. Another Cyclone is added on to the army. We have this Phoenix force now. Do take care of the medevac. That Phoenix stays alive with 2 health. And the probes were even pulled off the line. Harstem has taken this push very seriously. This Oracle takes another 4 kills and puts Kelazhur down to 29 SCVs, and now look at that. The Phoenix come in. Yukon's retreat versus a player that is making Phoenix. And I think Kelazhur was kind of banking on doing a lot more damage here. And we see a Twilight Console and a Forge in the front. Oh, look at this Liberator. Gets one kill. Gets all of the probes off the line, but the Stalkers are here and the Phoenixes are now here. This Liberator's not going to do anything anymore. Doesn't even get a shot off anymore. And just goes down. Now we do see the Twilight Console. Kelazhur didn't see it with the last dying breath of that Liberator. His last. Oracle comes in. 9 kills on the Zorkel. Look at that. Crazy Oracle with all the dead space on Amphion. We saw Kelazhur try to abuse it, but Harstem picking the Phoenix for that purpose mainly, or maybe. It's kind of double-edged for him. Or it serves 2 purposes, that Stargate. Gets the Oracle that can abuse this Terran, and then also gets the Phoenix, which really helps him to stay alive versus any abuse from the Terran. The CC gets delayed. Not even 40 SCVs right now, and these Phoenix are just being so annoying. One Phoenix does go down. Harstem's attention was elsewhere. This Liberator does get 5 kills. So some counter damage is being done here by Kelazhur. The Kelagod is hanging in there. 43 SCVs, getting his third base finished up. And this is more Cyclones than you expect to see in a game of StarCraft 2 nowadays, especially against Protoss. Double NGB underway. So Kelazhur kind of digging in his heels here, is getting Interference Matrix, and he's kind of gearing up to be ready to play against this Phoenix Colossus style. But we don't see a Colossus just yet. We see a Robo just coming up, so it's just a lot of gateway units here. How many gateways do we have? We have 5. 3 more underway. It's going to be 8 gate. We have Charge underway. No Blink just yet, so that is going to be a little bit of a surprise there for Kelazhur, perhaps. 4th base for Harstem underway as well. So he's really focusing here on the gateway units, and mainly the Zealots having +1 armor with Charge Zealots versus Marines that do not have +1 is going to be really tough on the bio player here. We see no Widow Mines either, and Kelazhur is actually starting to mine out the wall here. So he wants to expand towards his opponent, limit the air surface area. But as you can see, he really has to defend these SCVs that are mining, because if you move out of the way only 1 second, all of these SCVs are forfeit, and they do die. 4th base for Harstem is coming in, and Harstem immediately springs into action, grabs his units, and starts wailing away at this debris. Already halfway done, and Kelazhur decides against going there. I don't know if he saw the rocks, but being taken down. But he wants to take a different third now, knowing that he's been spotted. Get a nice cheeky stasis ward here. That charge slot is going to go down. The upgrades for Kelazhur are going to finish before this fight occurs, maybe. Well, I spoke too soon. It's not going to finish. Nice timing here for Harstem. Kind of an anti-timing for Kelazhur. Puts down the auto turrets, blocking in his own Marine force. And now this makes it pretty easy for those Zealots to get the damage done. We even had a Guardian Shield, and these Zealots are just incapable of dying right now. And this orbital, the SCVs are going to come out. This Marine is so happy he's still alive somehow, some way. And Kelazhur is still alive. He is kind of stuck on his 2 bases. Might start mining out that mineral wall again. He has this 1 bunker keeping him alive. We have an SCV in there. I don't think that man has a gun. And we see 4th base for Harstem fully saturated now. A 5th base might come in sooner rather than later. We do have the Colossus Den and another robotics facility being added on, so we're going to see some ranged Colossus as well. Do we have any Vikings? No, we do not. 0 Vikings, only 2 Medivacs and 2 Ravens. And we do see some Widow Mines coming in at a Ghost Academy. So Kelazhur's not going to be ready for these Colossus outside of his Ravens using that Interference Matrix. And if he can get the Interference Matrices on those Colossi, he can maybe take this fight, but... Wow, Thermal Lance not even done, but the first Colossus is being revealed. And Harstem is using his Zealots here to harass the SCVs. This third base is in peril. Harstem's supply is really, really high compared to that of Kelazhur. And these Phoenixes have been super oppressive this game. 2 more Colossi are coming out. 2-2 is underway for Kelazhur, and I think if those get to finish, he's going to have a really nice upgrade lead. But if Harstem attacks before that, and he probably will because he's almost maxed. Oh, that's a lot of zealots being put into the natural, and how do you deal with this? His army of Kelazhur is stuck at the third base. The Ravens trying to find those shutdowns on the big mechanical units. Does throw one onto the Colossus. Both of the Ravens go down, and the Zealots are ransacking the natural right now. We see the retreat coming in. The Widow Mines are revealed by this Oracle, and now the whole third base is going to get ransacked completely. Kelazhur doesn't even manage to clean up all of the Zealots, and 12 SCVs already going down, and more to fall. Kelazhur, GG's out. One giant big Colossus standing tall, and Kelazhur just kind of gets beat out there in game number 1. Just got pulled apart slowly but surely. That Oracle, is it still on the map? Well, we can't see it anymore, but 9 kills in the end. So just killed 9 SCVs and then put down a bunch of stasis wards and some revelations, which, I mean, Harstem just surgically pulled Kelazhur apart here in game number 1. And here we are for game number 2 on Goldenaura. Harstem versus Kelazhur. And Kelazhur in game 1 tried to do a pretty early attack with a bunch of Cyclones, 1 medevac, and a Marine force. Little core Marines. He forced himself up the ramp, and somehow one immortal Phoenix kept Harstem in the game, kept him alive, and then that push was thwarted. And Kelazhur, after investing that much resources, or that many resources into that attack, was then subsequently not able to stop the Oracle and the Phoenix from just doing chip after chip after chip damage. And so Kelazhur was just kind of getting killed by 1,000 cuts. Managed to get a decent army, but was never really in the position to move across the map. Couldn't safely take a third ever, and Harstem just got up a 4th, got a big-ass army, and killed Kelazhur before he could even get the 2-2 upgrades he needed. So here for game number 2, let's see what Kelazhur does this time around. We got the double gas, so probably going to be seeing a pretty fast factory here. Now let's see if there's a Reaper. There is a Reaper. So we're going to see Supply Depot, Factory, and then probably a CC after that. Checks out his 3rd or 4th base location. Harstem does. Probably has some experience with barracks being over there, because it's a pretty particular spot to check, right? And he does check it a lot. Cybercore is coming up as well. And of course, Kelazhur is getting that factory, is getting a reactor now. There's 1 Reaper. It's going to be running around. Might run into the probe, but the probe actually sneaks on by there. Does not get caught by the Reaper. And the Reaper's just going to run over into the main base of Harstem here. No Reaper wall. None to be punished either. And we see another Stargate opener from Harstem. That is interesting to see, because I kind of expected him to go into a Twilight opener, like we've seen all of the Protosses do this tournament. We do see the 3rd base, and wow, Harstem is allowed to see that 3rd base? Kelazhur, really? I feel like you don't put that in vision, right? Oh, it's the 2nd, what the hell? It's a 2nd CC, never mind. It's just a late CC. Oh, okay. I was like, okay, there's one on location. This is a super early 3rd. But it's not the case. The Reaper does go down to the Adepts there. And does he get the Scout? He did get the Scout on the Stargate. So Kelazhur can make himself ready for that. The 2 Adepts are going to go across the map. There's a Widow Mine here, cutely positioned to perhaps get a free kill on this Adept. And we need to have enough Marines or a Cyclone to deal with that Oracle. The Widow Mine does get that 1 kill on the Adept. The Marines are here to save him. And the Adept does not finish up. There's a Cyclone as well. Where is that Oracle? It's now coming out. This Adept shades on in again. Might actually finish here. It actually finishes. And this SCV is not too happy about that. The Adept also blocks out the CC. The Oracle's flying on in, trying to get a little bit of damage done while this Adept is making sure that this Oracle is not, or Cyclone's not in position to stop the Oracle, and the Oracle's getting a couple kills here on the SCVs, just like game one. Even worse, 4 SCVs go down in the main, and 1 went down in the natural to the Adept. And Kelazhur once again with this early medevac play. He does have a Widowmine here, but the Phoenixes again from Harstem are at the ready. We do have the Widowmine now burrowed. There's no blink. There does come a probe. The Widowmine very afraid of getting picked up by this Phoenix force. Nice pick off there by Kelazhur. Clicks down the probe. Another probe comes out for Harstem, and this Widowmine can be cleaned up. 2 probes are killed, and the Marines actually never get to shoot at any probes there. This medevac got shot down every opportunity that Harstem got. He clicked on that medevac. And that is actually how we cleaned it up. We do not have stim here either. So, Kelazhur doing a pretty similar push to game 1, but we have a third for Harstem now. That is pressured instead. And Kelazhur just walking up. This medevac needs to make sure that it doesn't get clicked down by these stalkers. And the third base here is being pressured by Kelazhur. The medevac's keeping the Marines alive here. Cyclone gets a cheeky lock on, but does not get a lot of damage done. Double liftoff on the Cyclone. The Phoenix almost killed the medevac. Only 4 health remaining. And Kelazhur knows he does not have enough damage to really kill this Nexus before his whole entire army is whittled down. And we see a very similar situation to game 1, where Kelazhur now wants a retreat, but there are Phoenixes on the map, there are Stalkers on the map, and now Kelazhur is trying to just do some cheeky pickup micro, but look at these Marines. They're just being picked away at by this Stalker force, and I mean, 2 Marines, a medevac, and a Cyclone to survive. And what did they get done? They killed a pylon. They got a little bit of damage on that Nexus, but nothing too much. Doesn't seem too good for our man Kelazhur here. His SCV count not too great. No third base. Only 1 engineering bay here, and that looks to be more of a timing push-oriented build here. No third base, no double engineering bay. Just going ahead with 5 barracks, a lot of bio, and just going to get +1 and try and do a lot of damage, or even kill Harstem before he gets up to critical mass. We see +1 in charge coming out for Harstem once again. So pretty similar builds here in game number 2, or at least for Harstem. But Kelazhur is doing an adaptation. So he's showing a similar build, and he's trying to do something else. He's going for a drop here, which we did not see a follow-up drop in game number 1. And how many gateways do we have? We have 4 gateways, 2 more underway. Or it's even 6 gateways. Yeah, 6 gateways, 2 more underway. So it's 8 gate, charge slot, +1 armor again. And we see the robotics support bay coming out as well. Where's that bugger? Oh, it's in the natural. And a little bit of a bio first here on the map. Stim is about to finish up. +1 is about to finish up. Triple drop going out. The Oracle spots that triple drop, and the Phoenixes are in position, not going to allow this Terran player to drop his whole army in the main base. And I would be surprised if Kelazhur still gets in here. Wow, he actually still gets in there. And Harstem is just not in position here. The entire army is being dropped in the mineral line, so it's being protected kind of by the buildings here from all of these charge slots. But this army just isn't that big. We do have a pretty nice run by at the third base, and Kelazhur's just trying to trade down here, get as many kills on the probes and the army as possible. These Marines stay alive whilst the Zealots are retreating. And this force in the main is doing so much damage. 26 probes were killed, and only 38 probes remain. These Widowmines are going to donate their lives, or at least one of them does. And the bio here tries to save that one Widowmines. Is this some save your buddy syndrome? And the one Zealot does get picked off. Widowmine gets taken down, and now Kelazhur needs to prove to us that he can retreat before he gets taken down by Harstem here. One medevac almost going down already, and Harstem's army is still pretty healthy. Look at that, so much supply is still en route here for Kelazhur, and he just gets pounced on by all of these Zealots. And now we see that problem. You can't retreat against Phoenix-based compositions. It's just so rough. But Kelazhur really wants to put on the pressure. He only now just starting a third base, kind of noticing that, I'm having a very tough time forcing myself into Harstem here. And Harstem is just summoning 8 Zealots at a time. Look at this again, dude. Kelazhur goes for a drop, and it immediately gets spotted by Harstem. And that's 2 times in a row. But Kelazhur still, he needs to show this almost, because he wants Harstem to react to him. Because Kelazhur just wants to be safe at home, and he wants to put on as much pressure as possible. Zealots are across the map, and this is kind of a yikes moment for Kelazhur, because he was expecting to keep Harstem at home with all of his pressure. But Harstem is like, no, my army's big enough. I can send a couple Zealots your way. They have +1 armor, pretty strong boys. 13 SCVs go down, and now we got that retreating problem once again for Kelazhur. I wouldn't be surprised if he just pulls all the SCVs here and goes for one last final punch in the jaw. Third base could even be cancelled. I mean, he's just barely getting home here. Like, he wants a retreat. Big reinforcements coming out, though. Kelazhur's army is looking pretty strong. 1-1. He's getting +2 as well. His third base is about to finish. He's getting some Vikings now. But if another Zealot run by hits the natural, I don't know what Kelazhur can do here. We even see a fourth base for Harstem. Harstem is in position here. Nice arc for the Protoss player. We do have some Widow Mines here to kind of help the bio establish a position, but Harstem does not allow Kelazhur to get a foothold here in between its bases. Not in my center. That's what Harstem says. You're not playing there, buddy. Even a cannon. Making sure that these Widow Mines can't do any damage. Look at the Zealot. Look at this Zealot. He's like, I don't know where your army is, but now I do. That's just beautiful. Harstem knows, like, okay, there's an army split. I need to split mine as well. Splits off his Colossus to the bottom, so has to fight with only gateway units here at the top. And Kelazhur's not even engaging, so actually getting a couple good trades here. Needs to heal up with these medevacs. Look at Harstem's vision. He's still kind of in the dark. Doesn't know where the other army is. But seems to be safe enough. The Phoenixes are ready to deal with any drop. There's a nice pylon and his units. So, oh, and now he sees that the army has merged. Psych, my whole army is here. Oh, the goddamn Colossus. No way. The derpy Colossus went in front of the gas instead of to the left of it. Oh, you feel his pain, but the extra Colossus came in clutch. The Phoenix sacrificed themselves, tanking the damage from those Vikings and the Marines. And Harstem here stays alive. Let's go back to all vision. And if you look at the SCV count, it's actually not that high. These mules have to do a lot of heavy lifting. And Kelazhur here does have decent army supply. +2 is coming. So this looks kind of okay if Kelazhur can keep up the good trades. Widow Mine gets a decent hit there onto the Stalkers. Blink almost about to finish. +2 starts right now. 2 Colossus are inbound, ready to do a bunch of splash damage to all of his bio. Oh my god, look at that. Immediately abusing the fact that he has Blink, does some damage, and one of these medevacs is ready to die. And another classic Terran problem arrives where if you lose your Vikings and or medevacs, you only have 1 starport to reproduce them. So losing that Viking over there, pretty problematic, because you have to keep your medevac count high enough to even fight, but you also want to have Vikings to fight. Dude, it will be the days when the Terrans just go for double starport early. They're just like, I'll just land the Vikings. They're too good. Especially when Zealots are somehow not meta. Because, of course, landed Vikings don't do anything against these zealots. Let's look at the army supply. Harstem is finally kind of taken the lead in their 5th base underway for El Capitan as well. More Colossus are coming out, and Harstem is recognizing the position he's in. He's forcing so many trades that it's really hard for Kelazhur to even make Vikings right now. So let's go into the 3rd base. The SCVs kind of come off the line for that. And Kelazhur has a pretty stiff task up ahead here. Nice Umburrow on the Widow Mines. And the Zealots just charge on in. All the Widow Mines have used their shots or have been killed. Another Blink Forward kills another Viking. And look at the amount of medevacs. It's just hurtful. Oh my god. Kelazhur in a misclick loads up half of his army. And look at that. He was just move commanding, getting completely obliterated by the laser beams. And Harstem just pulls back, gets into a nice position here. And this is Goldenaura in a nutshell. You just get abused for days, for hours, for weeks. And at least for the rest of this series, because I feel like it's going to end here. Kelazhur is down in about everything except for upgrades. So one good fight for Kelazhur could keep him in here, but look at the Colossus just doing the damage. And these Zealots just kind of run back and forth. They run in, tank a lot of damage, run back, and as long as they stay alive, that's value. Now this one Viking has a very tough road ahead of him. More Blink Stalkers killing more medevacs, and I feel like Harstem is just shaving away at this Terran army slowly but surely and more efficiently than Kelazhur is chafing away at the Protoss army. Because it's mostly just Zealots being killed. 3 Vikings becomes 2 Vikings. Look at that, he just blinks in, and Kelazhur can't punish it. If all of his bio shoots at that moment, those Stalkers die. But he's so afraid of just getting splashed to damnation by his opponent's Colossi, and now the 4th Colossus arrives. 1 does go down to the Viking, but 3 Colossus is just a little bit too much for Kelazhur, and Harstem shows us that you can go Stargate first in this matchup as well. Just go for the charge, go for the +1 armor, get your Colossus a little later, and doesn't rely on Blink at all in the early game. He relies on his Phoenix and his Oracles, and it looked pretty strong. Harstem taking a pretty clean 2-0 in this best of 3 versus Kelazhur, making it pretty goddamn difficult for Kelazhur to get out of this group now, because both Showtime and Harstem have now beaten him, and they were his kind of big opposition. I mean, we have Cuckoo, Spuzzy Muzzy, and Foryumi in this group. I think Foryumi could shake up things with his PvP, maybe take a series over Harstem or Showtime, but Kelazhur really has to just 2-0 everybody on his path and just hope that some PvP shenaniganry gets him back into the game here in Group C. Guys, thank you all for watching. Be sure that you like the channel, subscribe, etc. And I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.